One of the most underrated Disney animated features of all time is turning 35 today. So prepare yourselves as I bring to you a review of The Black Cauldron right now. Big Days, Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. Greetings, my fellow YouTubers, and welcome to Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. My name is Doyle, better known to y'all as the Big D, and this time around I bring to you a review of the 1985 animated fantasy film The Black Cauldron, released by Disney on this day 35 years ago. This was the 25th animated feature film of Disney's, and also their first to get a PG rating. The film is loosely based on the first two books in Lloyd Alexander's Tales of Prydain series, which of course is based on Welsh mythology, and is set in the mythical land of Prydain during the early Middle Ages. Anyway, film focuses on a young boy who happens to be a swineherd, a young princess, a bard, and a furry little wild creature who seek to destroy the mysterious Black Cauldron to prevent the cruel Horned King from ruling the world. The film was directed by Ted Berman and Richard Rich, who had recently directed The Fox and the Hound in 1981. Now, also, this was the first Disney animated feature to be recorded in Dolby Stereo, as a matter of fact. Not Disney's, it wasn't their first to be done in Dolby Stereo, because Disney's actual first film overall to be in Dolby Stereo was the original Pete's Dragon. But anyway, this was also the first Disney feature animated film to feature computer-generated imagery. The film did okay, but it did alright, but it was still a bit of a disappointment, however. But would go on to become a cult classic, though. But unfortunately, people would have to wait a long time for it to come to video. But for now, let's just get to the story, shall we? Anyway, we start out in the land of Prydain, and we meet a teenage boy, Taran, who happens to be an assistant pig keeper on the small farm of this man named Dalbin. Caer Dalbin, home of Dalbin the Enchanter. Okay, well, I got that mixed up. Caer Dalbin, Dalbin's the name of the man here. He's an enchanter. And Taran dreams of becoming a famous warrior. Dalbin learns that the evil ruler of Prydain, the Horned King, is searching for a mythical relic known as the Black Cauldron, which is capable of creating an invincible army of undead warriors. The Cauldron Born, they're called. Dalbin fears the Horned King will try to steal his pig Hen-Wen, who has oracular powers, and uses her to locate the cauldron. Yes, because Hen-Wen can see into the future. Dalbin directs Taran to take Hen-Wen to safety, but unfortunately his daydreaming causes her to get captured by Gwathines. I think that's how you pronounce that. The Horned King's dragon-like creatures. So, apparently, Taran tries to find him, and along the way he encounters a pestering dog-like creature named Gurgi, who happens to be the comic mischief of this movie. I absolutely loved this little guy. Yeah, because I can actually kind of still got it after I just now watched this on Disney Plus. It's been a long time since I last saw this. I do have it on video, but it's locked up in storage. But with Disney Plus, no problem. Yeah, Gurgi's a furry little creature who takes an apple that Dalbin had given Taran to take. My things and crime things. But Taran threatens him with a stick. It's like, poor Gurgi deserves your smackings and whackings. Yeah. And, well, Gurgi only wants to be Taran's friend. But anyway, Taran manages to catch up with these here the Horn King's dragon-like creatures, as they've already captured Hen-Wen and taken her to the king's castle. Gurgi manages to catch up, but he's scared. He doesn't want to help Taran to find Hen-Wen. So Taran's frustrated by Gurgi's antics and fear of the castle. He leaves him and sneaks into the castle to rescue the pig, but he manages to save her. But however, he's captured and thrown to the dungeon. There, he meets fellow captive named Princess Ailonwy, and she frees him as she is trying to make her own escape. In the catacombs beneath the castle, they discover the ancient burial chamber of a king where Taran arms himself with the king's sword, which is pretty magical, actually. Yeah, it actually contains magic that allows him to effectively fight the Horned King's minions and so to fulfill his dream of heroism. Along with a third prisoner, the comical middle-aged bard Fluter Flam, they escape from the castle and are soon reunited with Gurgi. Upon discovering that Taran has escaped, the Horned King orders his goblin accomplice Creeper to send the Gwithaints to follow Taran. Now, upon following Hen-Wen's trail, sorry, I almost used a W, my bad. The four companions stumble into the underground kingdom of the fair folk, who reveal that Hen-Wen is under their protection. When the kindly King Eilig reveals that he knows where the cauldron is, Taran decides to destroy it. The other three agree to join him, and Eilig's obnoxious right-hand man, Dolly, was assigned to lead them to the marshes of Morva, while the fair folk escort Hen-Wen back to safety to Caer Dallben. At the marshes, they learn that the cauldron is held by the three witches. Ordu, who acts as the leader, Orgoch, who is extremely greedy, and the more benevolent Orwen, who apparently falls for Fluter at first sight. Anyway, Ordu agrees to trade the cauldron for Taran's sword, and he reluctantly agrees, knowing it will cost his chance for heroism. Before vanishing, the witches reveal that the cauldron is indestructible, and that its power can only be broken when someone climbs in under his own free will, which will kill him. And Dolly angrily abandons the group, although Taran feels foolish for aspiring to destroy the cauldron alone. His companions show their belief in him, and Ailonwy and Taran almost kiss. Suddenly, they are interrupted by the Horned King's soldiers, who have followed them to Morva. Gurgi runs away, before they seize the cauldron. And they take them back to the castle. The Horned King uses the cauldron to raise the dead, and his cauldron-born army begins to pour out into the world. Okay, now then, for the ending. You've got 5 seconds to stop this video. Go to the description box below and fast forward to the time below in order to avoid ending spoilers, okay? If you haven't seen it. So, here we go. Okay, you've been warned. Okay, now Gurgi manages to sneak into the castle and rescue Taran and the others, who are tied up by their wrists. Taran decides to cast himself into the cauldron to save everyone. But Gurgi feels frightened because he feels kind of bad after being afraid since he met Taran. So he decides to stop Taran and jumps into the cauldron himself. And suddenly, after all this green mist comes out, raising the Horned King's army of the dead and what have you, oh yeah. really creepy. Once that happens, the undead army collapses. Yes. And while the Horned King is shocked by this, he thinks his lackey Creeper's behind this. He spots Taran and he infers the turn of events, says that Taran has interfered for the last time, and prepares to throw the youth toward the cauldron. However, the cauldron's magic is out of control. It consumes the Horned King in a tunnel of fire, killing him and destroying the castle, using up all its powers forever. Yes, Tarwin, Ilonwi, and Fluer managed to find a boat and managed to get out just at the last minute. They were lucky. Anyway, after they managed to escape from the castle, the three witches come to recover the now inert Black Cauldron. However, Taran has finally realized Gurgi's true friendship, and he asks the witches to revive his friend in exchange for the cauldron, choosing to give up his magical sword permanently. Fluer challenges the reluctant witches to demonstrate their powers, and upon hearing Fluer's remarks, the witches honored the request, returning Gurgi to them. At first, Gurgi appears to be dead, but is resurrected. After they reunite, he pushes Taran and Ilonwi to a kiss. Yeah, that was just so... Oh my gosh. Anyway, the four friends then journey back to Caer Dallben, where Dallben and Dolly watch them in a vision created by Hen-Wen, and Dallben finally praises Taran for his heroism. And that's the end. Excuse me, everyone. Now then, what did I think of the Black Cauldron? I'm going to say it still holds up. This was actually the very first movie I ever went and saw in the theater when I was a little boy. I was 5 at the time. Actually, not too far away from starting kindergarten at school. But enough about that. But anyway, I think The Black Cauldron was just such an amazing flick. It's easily an underrated movie, in my view. But even so, it still did pretty well. Anyway, the film did okay, and although it kind of fell short of being a big opener, as it lost to the Care Bears movie, which actually was out, which was released several months earlier. But anyway, yeah, it was so poorly received, and it was not distributed as a home video release for more than a decade after its theatrical run. In 1998, the film finally got released on video cassette for the first time ever. Now, film's actually gotten some mixed response and what have you, so that's pretty good and what have you. Oh, not only that, this film was also the first Disney flick to be presented in Super Technorama 70, the first Disney animated feature to do that since Sleeping Beauty. Now, in the UK, it got released on video a year before we got it. Anyway, let's see now. A couple years later, it got released on DVD for the first time. Let's see now. In 2018, Disney had announced a special edition DVD release to come out in 2009, but it didn't come out. But however, a year later, it was re-advertised as a 25th anniversary edition, released in September of the following year in 2010, in both the US and the UK. So anyway, while I may never have read the Tales of Prydain series, but still, I'm going to say this is a very good movie. Would I recommend The Black Cauldron? Yes, most definitely. This was a childhood favorite of mine. I grew up with. I love this movie. It can be pretty dark. It's dark at times, but still, it's amazing. I love the characters. The Horned King is definitely a very dark Disney foe. Well, I know, and even though she's not considered an actual Disney princess, I really kind of feel like Princess Ailong should be considered a Disney princess, but she isn't. I mean, same thing except for Princess Calla from Disney's first ever animated Saturday morning show, The Adventures of the Gummy Bears, which happened to come out a few months later that same year. Oh well. But anyway, the Black Cauldron is real good. Now, the cast is really good too. We have Grant Bardsley as Taran, Susan Sheridan as Princess Ailong, John Byner, who I'm pretty sure I've seen that name somewhere before, as Gurgi and Dolly. Give me a second. Oh yes, I remember him. Byner was actually the guy who voiced the two main characters of the Patty Freeland cartoon, The Ant and the Aardvark. Now, where was I? Oh yes, Nigel Hawthorne voices Fluter Flam. We have Phil Fondacaro as Creeper, and Frey Jones as Dobbin. And John Hurt, most of y'all know him from the original Alien, lots of other movies, as well as Mr. Ollivander from Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, and Professor Broom from the original Hellboy. Look for a review of that later on as the Horned King. So anyway, now there would also be some other stuff to come out for this, including a video game, but unfortunately for computers, I wish there would have been a pretty cool video game to come out for this for the NES. I mean, it was introduced in 1985. Oh well. But anyway, The Black Cauldron is definitely a great Disney classic. Again, I would highly recommend this movie. I mean, you might like it, you may not. That just depends. You be the judge. But again, this is a highly recommend because I when I saw this, I do love it. It's just a great movie. So anyway, that's about it. That's about all I can tell you about this. So that'll do it for my review of The Black Cauldron. What did you think of this movie, The Black Cauldron? Tell me what you thought about in the comment section below. Leave a like on this video if you liked it. Subscribe to my channel. Be a part of the Big D Nation. Join me next time when I'm deciding to do more Disney because I'm going to be doing the High School Musical trilogy next time. So thank you very much for watching. Now, if you liked this, you can check out some of these other Disney reviews I did. Well, I'll throw in a few that I did. In the upper left-hand corner is my review of the original Lion King. I did watch the live-action remake last month, I believe it was. Yeah, I watched it last month. I might review it down the road. We'll see. The upper right-hand corner is my review of The Little Mermaid, and the bottom left-hand corner is, well, this has only got a mere view or two. I wish it could do better. A back-to-back review I did of both animated and live-action versions of Beauty and the Beast. The bottom right-hand corner is the button you can click to subscribe. Now, I've also read there's to be a Tales of Prydain series coming to Disney+. We'll see what happens. And there's also the possibility of a Black Cauldron live-action remake. Again, who knows? Thanks again for watching my review of The Black Cauldron. Until next time, I'm the Big D saying, see ya!